Alright, YouTube, so we are back, of course, talking about some Final Fantasy VII Remake. Really quickly, hopefully you guys, if you celebrate Christmas, you celebrate the holidays, hopefully that went well. We almost have 2020 behind us. 2021 is not going to be very different. It's going to be a long time before the world is back to normal, but for the most part, we can put 2020 in our goddamn rear view. Today we have a couple bits of news for Remake. One's like a end-of-the-year kind of statement from Yoshinori Kitase. It's not really super in-depth, but it's still there. It exists. We have a couple of things when it comes to the mocap actors. One that's very, very specific. Like in the past when we talked about mocap actors, it's like the Cloud and Tifa mocap actor working together, but it could be them working on a couple of different projects, right? They may not only work on Remake together, but one of them, which is the Aerith mocap actor, directly references Sephiroth. So first up, we're going to start with the Kitase statement, which the translation, of course, and all the stuff we're looking at today comes from Aitaikimochi on Twitter. So the statement comes out of a recent Famitsu interview for aspirations for 2021. The first thing it says is keyword for 2021, and Kitase replies with the story will be connected, which to me is a bit confusing because you think they'd say the story would be continued, but the story would be connected. The first thing that comes to mind if I'm thinking of connecting stories would be maybe Zack and the main group or something like that. Different timelines be connected. I don't know. It's the first thing I think of. Aspirations for 2021, the long-awaited Final Fantasy VII Remake was finally released in 2020. The new world of FF7 has only just begun. My aspirations, not just in 2021 but beyond, will be how the story will be broadened from here on out. It's so exciting that I can't even imagine what it'll be like. Please look forward to it. And the latest info, of course, development of FF7 is progressing smoothly. However, please wait a bit longer for more details. So there's actually a lot more to that than I realized. I guess maybe the first time I just read over it kind of quickly, but it definitely seems like something is happening in 2021. With the way that Kitase is talking about his aspirations for 2021, it just definitely seems like we're going to be getting info next year. Maybe not necessarily the game itself, but info. Then again, when it comes to the mocap stuff that we're going to talk about here in a little bit, it definitely seems like they could be close to being done with Part 2 if Part 2 is going to end where a lot of people think it might. The other thing that stuck out to me is them asking Kitase what his keyword was for 2021, and the last time we got something like that was at the end of 2018, where they asked Nomura and Kitase a similar question. And Nomura said his keyword for 2019 was 7, and Kitase said his was long awaited. And obviously 2019 is where we started getting all the info for Remake finally. And to round it all out at the end, whenever he says to wait just a little bit longer for info for Part 2, that definitely seems like something that would happen within the next year or so. So it certainly seems like we're going to be hearing about Part 2, at least them talking about it, in 2021. So next up, we have the Tifa and Cloud mocap actor working together. Now, nothing too crazy or special here. We've seen them working together a lot in the past. And it's not until we get to the Aerith mocap actor that it definitely seems to confirm that there is some mocap happening for Remake. But to look at the translation of her tweet really quickly, it says, Merry Christmas, we're done with mocap work. I've been running around all year with Yamazaki. We still have paperwork left over from this year, but let's just take a breather for now. Now, face value, that is a very interesting tweet because she does say that she's done with mocap work, but Audrey does do a clarification tweet later on to say that the Japanese culture, they stop working around the 28th or so of December, and they pick it up around the beginning of January. So her saying that she's done with mocap work doesn't mean she's done definitively, done recording for Part 2 or something. Just that they are done doing mocap work for the year, and they'll pick it back up at the beginning of January. And now on to the Aerith mocap actress, and this is debatably the biggest piece of info in the video, and potentially the biggest piece of info for Part 2, depending on how you want to interpret the mocap work that she is doing. And the translation of her tweet says, I finished a 4-hour shoot with Sephiroth's motion actor yesterday. The staff praised us. I'll be working today too. Thanks for your Christmas messages plus gifts. I enjoyed them in between shoots. So first off, her just name dropping Sephiroth would be the first piece of definitive info, clarification that they are doing motion capture for Part 2. Not that that's really surprised. We've known that for quite a while at this point, but this is the first time that we're for sure it's happening. So the obvious thing we got to talk about here is the mocap actor for Aerith doing a 4-hour session with the mocap actor for Sephiroth. What could that possibly mean? I think we all have an idea, right? The death scene. Aerith dying. Is that possibly what they're recording for? It's hard to say. Now, somebody did point out in the replies to Audrey's translation that Asuka Yoshikawa, I think is how you say her name, is also known for her swordplay when it comes to mocap. So it's possible that though she is the Aerith mocap actor, she could be doing sword fighting stuff as Cloud against Sephiroth, right? Just because she does mocap for Aerith doesn't mean she doesn't do other things. Now, I have no idea. I don't know shit about Japanese video game development and mocap and things like that. Maybe you guys know. So I guess a better question to ask would be, who does the sword-fighting mocap for Cloud in Remake? If it's her, then it's possible she's not doing something for Aerith specifically against Sephiroth. But if we do want to run with that idea for the sake of the video, a lot of people do think Part 2 is going to end with the Aerith death scene. It's a fantastic cliffhanger. It has you speculating and wondering what the hell's going to happen for Part 3. And the fact that we have the Aerith mocap actor working with the Sephiroth mocap actor, Maybe, man. I don't know. Anyways, but dudes, that is the video. I definitely want to know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Like, with the mocap, what do you think is going on there? Do you think that it is Aerith and Sephiroth specifically, or should you do a mocap for something else, like Cloud or something against Sephiroth? And of course, what are your thoughts on Kitase's statements about it? It definitely seemed like we're going to get something for Part 2 within 2021, at least in terms of information. Other than my dudes, that is the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you guys aren't able to today with more Final Fantasy VII Remake content. Turn on my notifications. Follow me on Twitter at dashingdavidyt, at my Discord. Links to my social networks are in the description and in the outro. Later, guys.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Rogaine, or leave it like Cobain.